In this module, we're going to cover basic Jabber operations. We're going to start off by giving you a tour of the user interface and walking you through the most common functions of IM and presence using Jabber for Windows. We're going to then finally show you some of the basic phone control capabilities. Now keep in mind, we're going to cover desk phone and soft phone control configuration and a little bit more detail in the next module. So for this one, we're just going to kind of kick the tires a little bit and give you an introduction to some of the capabilities that are possible. Let's start our tour off of the Cisco Jabber for Windows application here at the application login screen. You'll note that I'm using 10.6.4, and as Cisco is using an agile development and release approach, your version of Jabber will likely be lots newer than mine by the time you're watching this video. So your mileage may vary, but this should give you a good rundown of what type of information your end users are going to require as part of training to be familiar with using the Jabber for Windows interface. You'll notice that I've been prompted for a username and password, so I've gone ahead and entered my credentials. I've also chosen to select the Sign Me In when Cisco Jabber starts box. The next time Jabber is closed and reopened, it will automatically log me in, or I've set this checkbox. I'm going to go ahead and click the Sign In button, and the Jabber application is going to open up. Now, you may have noticed at the top of my screen there that there's a new toolbar or a drop-down, and let me open it real quick and show you what we've got going on here. We've got search or call, and you'll see that we've got the capability to control our phone, we've got calendar, we've got voicemail, and we've got Jabber. So what we can do is, let's say that I had just opened this and I didn't already have my preferences set for that to go. You'd basically see this. You can click on the hub window and it'll bring the main application window into full view. So that's likely the experience you're going to get the first time through it. Let me walk you through the interface. In the center of the screen, or the center of the window, up at the very top, you'll see my name, Josh Kittle. And I want you to pay attention to the format that name is in. So first, if you see an email address here, that should be an indicator to you that there's something broken with your directory services integration. You want to see first name, last name, and that's what I've got here, so directory service integration is fine. You'll see my status is available, and I can click on the presence status indicator over here and change it to away or do not disturb, or I can create a custom status if I would like. It will say demo for plural site, and that is an available status. So now you'll notice that I've got a custom status. You can create custom statuses, or you can delete the custom statuses, and then when you delete them, you're going to delete them all at once. So I'm going to say delete custom statuses. They're all gone, and we're back to available, away, and do not disturb. You can change your status. I can go to away, and I can say, I don't know, gone fishing. And now I've got a custom away status. So again, if I want to delete my custom statuses, I can do that, and we're back to just the defaults. To the left of my presence indicator, you'll see an icon or an avatar. Now, you're only seeing a silhouette because in my lab and in this course, I'm not covering creation of those icons and deployment of those. That's really a conversation of its own. But if I were using pictures, this is where you'd see them. Let me walk through some of the remaining areas within the user interface. I'm on the contacts page right now, and I don't have any contacts added. This will be the default state the first time you launch Jabber for Windows. To add a contact, you'll search for them. So let's go ahead and search for a contact now. Let me think. Who is online? How about Don? Let's search for Don. Hey, there's Don. Don Henley is away. We'll click the plus button to add him to my contacts folder. I can create different contact groups. I'm going to use the, in fact, you know what? Let me create a new group. Let me just call it custom contacts and hit create. And we'll add him to custom contacts. So we can see Don Henley is away and he is in custom contacts. Now I can add other users like, let's see, Eddie Money. There he is. Add. We'll also add him to custom contacts, and you can create different contact groups if you want to. If you look at Don Henley, you'll see his presence status is indicated as being away, and we're going to change that. I'm going to go ahead and actually wake him up so that he is no longer away. Now he is in the available state. Now if he wanted to set a custom status, we can do that. So he is now recording a killer album, and his present status is still available. So that's, pretty much what you're going to see from a user interface perspective when looking at presence for other people. Now, there are different things I can do with Don. Obviously, we could, we can see each other's presence. Let's say we want to chat. Let me click the chat box, and you're going to see a conversation that we had earlier, and we'll actually start a new conversation. If I can spell here. And you'll notice we got a little audio indicator there. But we can see that the conversation is happening. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Let's say that we wanted to elevate this from a chat session. Maybe we need some tech support here. We want to do a screen sharing session. Well, up here at the top of the page, there's a little button you can click for share screen. And I'm actually going to do it from the other machine here so that you can see Don's screen. So I'm going to click to share screen. It's going to send me an invitation, and I'm going to accept it. We're now going to see Don's screen. And there you go. So that's fairly straightforward. When we're done presenting, we'll just have Don click the button up here at the top and close it, and that'll end our screen sharing session. If I want to escalate or elevate this chat conversation into a phone call, I can click the call button, and Don's phone is going to ring, and he'll be able to answer that call, and we'll be able to have a telephone conversation. I'm going to go ahead and end that call since we're not actually going to do it. You'll also notice that there are other features. In fact, we'll start down here at the bottom. We've got send a screen capture, so I can snip a portion of the screen and send it. I can send a file. I can use some of these really cool emoticons here. We'll give him a cup of coffee. There we go. We can edit the font in use. We can add participants to this conversation and actually make it a group chat. I'm not going to do that here, but I want you to know that is available, and it's as simple as it looks. You just type another name in and add them to a group chat. And then, obviously, down here at the bottom, show this chat in a new window. We can pop it out and then move it around, or we can just close it. We can look at recents, and we can see telephone calls that were recently made. So you'll notice we've got one here. That was 6 p.m. In fact, you notice it's still showing Don. It's still showing that he is available. We can see he's in a work state. Everything's great there. If I wanted to call him back, I could click here, and it would place a call to him. Or I can hang that up. If we had voicemail integration set up, and I'm going to specifically cover this in another video, you'd go to voice messages here, and we'd see visual voicemail. And if I had a voicemail message, I'd be able to view them here, play them back, etc. With Outlook integration or calendar integration, you could also see meetings here. Or if you've got a WebEx meeting showing up in your calendar, you'll see those show up here. And if you've got a WebEx account configured in Jabber, you'll be able to join those meetings or even launch instant WebEx sessions. But we're not going to cover that here, but I want you to know that those capabilities do exist. Now, I'm going to give you some basic demonstrations of the telephone control, but we're going to cover the specifics and, more importantly, the setup of telephone integration for Jabber in another module. So I'm just going to show you the user interface from this perspective. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, in fact, we'll start by going back to context here. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see a little computer. I'm going to click that, and you'll see three options. You'll see use my computer for calls, use my phone for calls, or forward calls to, and we could then set up a destination. So right now I'm set up to use my computer for calls. I'm going to set this as use my phone for calls, and let's try to call Don. And actually I don't have him in a good calling search space, so I could hear my phone say, your call cannot be completed as dialed, and I'm not really worried about that. But you can see the interaction that happened. In fact, let me pick up my handset. I pick up my handset. You can see desk phone is off hook. So you know that it's functional. The integration is there. In fact, let me do it again. Look at my status. Now it went to yellow and says on a call. So that right there is an example of desk phone integration. I can say use my computer for calls, and this is going to be what we call soft phone integration. I can also call Don with my soft phone, and you'll see again my presence status changed to on a call. and I'll hang it up again, and I'll go back to available. So you can see how, as my status is changing, my real world status, that my presence status is following with it and being updated as well. The Jabber for Windows interface is really fairly straightforward. I think you're going to find it very intuitive and easy to use. When you get into some of the telephony features, you'll have the ability to conference calls and do transfers and all that other kind of stuff, just like you would from a phone control. But again, we're going to cover some of those features in depth in another module. In this module, we talked about the user interface and introduced you to the main components of the Jabber for Windows interface. We talked about instant messaging and how to do chat, and we talked about presence and how to create custom presence statuses and change your presence status and observing the change in presence status of another. We also talked about basic phone control capabilities, and again, we're going to get into a phone control deep dive in the next module. With that, I think we've covered what you're going to need to know about the user interface. Like I said before, it seems to be fairly intuitive and people catch on fairly quickly. So hopefully this is enough to get your end users kicked started and ready to start using the application. And with that, we're going to wrap this module up. I want to say thanks for watching. Good luck with your studies, and we'll see you in the next video.